We're here with Dr. Davis, who is responsible for the medical side of things for the 2013 Carifta Games. And good evening to you, Dr. Davis.
Good afternoon to you too.
All right, let's talk about the plans that you have put in. That you know what? Let's start. We're the Carifta Trials. Let's start with the Carifta Trials. Let's talk about the provisions that you put in place just for the 2013 Carifta Trials.
For the 2013 Carifta Trials, what I decided to do is make sure that this will be the best medical team that we have ever assembled. So what I did was I got medical doctors from the emergency room, surgical doctors from the surgical department, as well as medical and surgical nurses from the emergency room to work at this Carifta game. We also have physiotherapists, we have massage therapists, chiropractors.
All right, let's talk about. Give me in a nutshell. Give me a scenario of all the stuff you might encounter from probably hyperventilation, muscle strains, that kind of stuff. Give us a rundown as to what kind of injuries are common and how do you go, and what's the process.
Well, at the present time, because the night is a cold night, we expect for a lot of athletes to have cramping. So therefore, we have at each point of the track, we have 4 medical personnel. We have a doctor, a nurse, and 2 individuals who are either EMT trained or they have some sort of medical background, which they can transport the patient from off the track to the medical area where we can work on them, either ice them down or give them massage or otherwise give them some medication to relieve the pain that they're having at the present time.
All right, let's go now to the 2013 Carifta Games, which will be held at the end of this month. That is, we're talking some 500 plus athletes. You've got persons in the bleachers that's in the stands that could have medical issues. Talk about the overall plan for 2013 Carifta Games.
The overall plan for the 2013 Carifta Games, medically, we have prepared a plan that we will have approximately 110 medical personnel. Out of the 110 medical personnel, yes, they will not come every day to the event, but we have them placed in areas that in case there is a event of somebody having some sort of injury, we will deal with it. For example, let's talk about spectators first. We will have medical personnel in the stand that will be monitoring if there's any medical problems. Once we find there's a medical problem, we will transport that patient to the medical bay and we will then work on that individual. We have the medical bay set up like an emergency room. We will deal with any emergency cases in that area. Once dealing with that person, if they're stabilized enough and if they need transport to the hospital, we will transport them to the hospital. If not, they can be discharged. We have 2 medical places placed at the track. One on the east section, which will be where the athletes will be, and then the west section where the spectators are. We will have emergency trained medical personnel there in those places, as well as surgical personnel and personnel who are trained in sports medicine, as well as those individuals who are working with physiotherapy, chiropractors, trained coaches, etc. And the trained coaches are not individuals who are coaches. These are individuals who are trained to deal with athletic injuries.
All right. Now, but Carifta's traveling with the Carifta team. Team Bahamas is nothing new to you. I think you were last year you were in Hamilton, Bermuda. The year before that you were in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Grand Cayman, you were there. Now that's as far as my memory takes me back. But how far back do you go with Carifta teams?
Honestly, I have traveled with Carifta team for at least about 6 or 7 years. I also traveled with the Olympic team. I am the Olympic coach. I'm sorry, I am the Olympic doctor. And I'm traveling with many other teams for Junior World as well as for the Senior World Games and etc. And therefore, I feel that I have a wealth of knowledge now how to manage any type of games that we're having like this. We wanted to be the best medical. We don't want just any medical personnel, but we want trained, qualified personnel to be dealing with these international as well as Bahamian athletes.
Now, I want to share an experience that I had with you in Hamilton, Bermuda. And you could tell me if you've had other experiences. But I know on one of the races coming at the end of the races, in Bermuda, one of the Bermuda athletes was suffering an asthma attack. And as fate would have it, you were the medic on hand at the time, or were closest to him. And you just jump into gear. Talk about some of the experiences you've had in traveling with Carifta teams.
One of the most amazing things in traveling with Carifta teams, I have found for me, a lot of the teams, they know me and they request if I can manage their team medically if there's something goes wrong with their athletes. I've had some serious experience where athletes have completely collapsed and had to be transported to the hospital, which in the doctors and nurses at the hospital allowed me to deal with my athletes. I've had athletes who have had asthma and we treated them. I've had other athletes from different countries who have had other injuries, broken leg, broken arms that I've dealt with. And to the point where now that I'm extremely well known throughout the Caribbean as well as in the world, I should say, too.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you at the 2013 Carifta Games. It's always a pleasure to see you. And the thing, you always a lot of, but once the smoke is cleared and you had a little time to interact with, time to socialize, you also have to know how to just just kind of hang loose.
Yeah, I do. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize that this is a real hard task. When you're dealing with the athletes, a lot of people don't see what happens behind the closed doors. There are many times, 3, 4 o'clock in the night, I'm up with the athletes. Believe it or not, and I have to set up IVs on them, give them medication. Not only with the sporting injuries, but sometimes we have athletes who have gastroenteritis, they're vomiting, diarrhea, they're having fever, headaches, etc. And sometimes you up all night with them and then have to be out the following morning with them just like everything is okay. But then when it's time for you to relax, I tend to relax. And that's the good part about it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.